Hey guys, good morning. Coach Jen T here. Today, really quickly, I want to talk a little bit about tracking and progress and keeping things realistic with the time of year. And the reason for that is because we do have a few clients that are like getting a little bit discouraged because they might not be making as much progress as they thought they would in the summertime. In the big grand scheme of things, if your goal is to like lose body fat, lose inches, you've got to remember, you guys, that slow and steady wins the race. That is like a term that has been beat to death, but it is so true. Progress is slow. And what's better than like trying to be perfect for a short amount of time to hit your results and be perfect with it and like get there, is actually taking your time, focusing on one thing at a time, one habit at a time, and just giving yourself that time to not be perfect, but give like 80% effort, 70% effort. Long term, you're going to get far better results because you're going to be making the things that you're changing more of a lifestyle than this like structured pressure thing to be perfect. Because if you are like trying to be perfect, you're trying to slay your goals, great. If you don't have anything like coming up where you absolutely have to be perfect, give yourself that flexibility to like live your life. And the reason I'm bringing this up now is because we just got through July. There are barbecues. We're going out more. I know for me, like we have more plans in the evening in the summertime. I mean, it's light out, it's nice out. We've got barbecues, parties, boating, all kinds of things where like the structure that you would have during other times in your life isn't really there. So you've got to give yourself that grace. You have to be realistic with your goals. So as far as like, you know, the time in your life to like really dial it in, maybe that's more since, if you are in Maine, maybe that's more of like a fall thing. Like, in the fall or the winter, you're going to start working slowly on getting results to feel your best either for the holidays or for next summer. Now is the time to start working on, whatever goals you have as far as your health and your body for like the following year, because it takes time. It can take 6 months, it can take 12 months, it can take years. So you want to make sure, you guys, that you're being realistic with your goals. You're not going to get this quick fix, short term quick weight loss where you're going to be like feeling where you want to be like in a very short amount of time. So you got to give yourself that time, you guys. The other thing is there are seasons of tracking versus not tracking. Tracking doesn't work for everyone, and if it doesn't work for you, don't pay attention to this part of the video. But tracking, you guys, is an amazing tool to bring awareness to your intake. And the reason why, like, there are tons of apps out there. My coaching group in my programming, we use Macros First. There's also tons of others. MyFitnessPal is very popular. But tracking your food is like a great tool. It's a great foundation to see where your nutrition is at. It takes practice, it takes patience, but once you kind of get the hang of it, you learn like, wow, I've had people start with me and they're like, wow, I don't even get 50% of the protein that I should be getting. Or, oh my gosh, like on weeknights or maybe on weekends, I get way too many carbs, way too many fats. My calories go through the roof. So if you're like looking at your calories and your averages through the whole week, and seeing where your protein is and seeing how much fiber you're getting, it's going to be like it's like the road opens up and you're able to see the road versus like driving with a blindfold on because you have no idea what your intake is. Yes, eating mindfully and intuitively and eating slowly is like also amazing, and you should always start there. But if you are looking to like really dial in your nutrition and see where you're at, tracking is very, very helpful. That being said, you want to make sure that you are consistent with tracking, but give yourself that flexibility. What's great about tracking is you do get the flexibility. A lot of people are surprised at how many calories they can have and still make progress. But what happens is people get in that all or nothing mindset, and they eat a cookie or they eat a piece of cake, and then they think they totally screwed up their entire day and go way overboard. Or on the weekends they go in a screw it mood and they just like let loose and go crazy with all of their food intake. So over the course of like an entire 7-day week, they're ending up being in a calorie surplus, which makes body fat accumulate. If that's not your goal and your goal is fat loss, you want to make sure that you are paying attention and being aware. And that is where tracking is just like a great way to do that. And what we like to do is make the times you're in a calorie deficit short term. So like you speak with your coach and you determine like, hey, this is my goal. Realistically, how long will it take me to get there? Because you got to keep it real. You got to live your life. And you have to know, like, you don't want to live your life deprived forever, right? So you might choose to be in a calorie deficit for 4 weeks or 6 weeks or maybe 8 weeks. There is an end in sight where you are in a little bit of a calorie deficit, you're consistent with it, but then there is an end in sight where you're going to take a break, you're going to go on to maintenance, which means you're just going to give yourself a little. My alarm went off. Sorry about that. So where you're going to go to maintenance, where you're going to give yourself a little more calories, and that is determined by you and the coach. And that is just taking a break and like living your life and knowing that like what you just did to cut your calories back a little bit was short term. And that keeps your metabolism nice and healthy. It keeps your mind healthy. It keeps that healthy relationship with food. And you're going to, maybe take that break for 4 weeks or 6 weeks. And then you establish another time to dial it back in and go in a deficit. So as far as like life, maybe summer is not the time you try to be in a deficit. The time that you want to try to like lose body fat and be in a deficit would be more like whatever's a slower time for you. Life always happens. There will be holidays coming up with holiday parties. There's always like different holidays, different celebrations, things going on, things in life happen. Life is going to happen. I promise you that. So you want to make sure you're being realistic with your goals, speaking with your coach, talking about like what's going on in your life and what is realistic for you. And really, when it all is said and done, tracking or not, what matters is that you it matters that you're adding lots of whole foods to your day, and you are taking that time to just listen to your body, and you're being realistic with your goals. So I hope this helps you guys. You want to make sure you're selecting a time of life where that's good. There is never going to be a perfect time to like dial things in. But again, if it's summertime, give yourself some grace. I mean, even myself, we all struggle a little bit, and summer is crazy. We are off our routine a little bit more. So just keep that in mind as you go about and speak with your coach. Talk about like, hey, these are the few things that I want to work on. Consistency is always key, far greater than perfection. So keep that consistency and keep that communication open. And if you guys are looking to see where you should be for maintenance calories or decreasing your calories a little bit to dial in for the fall, you can reach out to me and I'm happy to help. But it's just a matter of keeping things realistic, you guys, and giving yourself that grace, because no matter where you are in life and where you get, how your body is and what you accomplish is not going to bring happiness. You have to be happy before you reach a certain goal. So keep that in mind, you guys. Have a good day.